Welcome back to another week of Eye of the Storm, a Guelph Storm podcast with myself, Ryan Drury, the voice of your Guelph Storm on Rogers TV. Very pleased to be joined by another one of the new faces on the club this year, rookie goaltender Colin Ellsworth. Colin, how are you, man? How's it going?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Well, I got to say, man, it's not very often that we see guys that are still 15 years old come into the Ontario Hockey League and be as impressive early on, especially as a goaltender. That's even more rare than what you've done so far in your 4 appearances for the Storm. Tell us a little bit about what it's like. I mean, you're a young guy. You certainly don't look it when you take the crease. What's the experience been like so far early in your OHL career?
Yeah, it's been great. Tons of fun. I don't really think too much about being younger. I'm just trying to perform how every other goalie does in the league and try and fit in with them. Yeah, it's just been a great start to the season. Still looking for my first win, but it's coming.
It absolutely is coming. And I want to say, obviously, fans have really taken to you. Again, it's a great story what you're doing out there so far. I want to go back to draft night, though. Obviously, a very momentous occasion for you and your family as a young player. I'm sure that you dreamed along the way of making an OHL club one day, and you get the draft call from the Guelph Storm. What was that like for you and your family on that night, having George call you and telling you you're going to be a member of the Guelph Storm?
Yeah, it was a feeling I can't really explain. I didn't think I would be that excited and I couldn't have been happier that Guelph called me. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was getting to the end of the first night, but I was just there with my parents, and then my dad got a call, and yeah, me and my mom were really excited, and yeah, just a night I'll never forget, and a feeling that I can't explain.
What was it like going into your first OHL camp? I mean, obviously, you've been through plenty of training camps with elite programs all your young life before, but you step into your first OHL camp. You got some really incredible prospects around you that are taking shots on you, and then you make main camp, and you got a bunch of veteran OHL players who I'm sure have some pretty good shots that we see every night at the Sleeman Center that are taking shots on you. I mean, what was it like walking into training camp for the first time as an OHLer?
Yeah, a little bit nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. Just wanted to see what it was like, and I like the skill is a lot better here, and it definitely showed on the first day. I was during the summer I was kind of not nervous, but thinking a lot about how I would compare to these shots, how good they really are, because I know they're good, but I haven't really faced many. And then at camp, I got to go through it, and I think I did pretty good, and I fit in with it. So it didn't seem too crazy to me, but it was definitely a big step.
I want to talk to you a little bit about obviously, growing up in the Aurora area and starting to play hockey as a young man. And, what do you remember best about being a young kid and first falling in love with the game and growing up where you did? I mean, obviously, a special place for you. What do you remember about first kind of starting to play and fall in love with the game?
Yeah, I started skating after I saw my brother doing it, and then I finally joined a little league, and I noticed I'd always go in the net. I was a player, but I'd always just drift to the net and stay in the net. And then when I finally got the chance to become a goalie, I just decided to go with it and stayed with it my whole life, and I've loved it.
Around what age do you figure you really committed to being a goaltender? When was that decided? I'm sure mom and dad kind of maybe gave each other a bit of a side eye. Goalie parents are a special breed. Hockey parents in general are special, but the goalie parents in particular, it's a big commitment. Around what age do you figure you were when you committed to being a goaltender full time?
I'd say it was around 6 or 7. It was my first tryout, and I was my mom asked if I wanted to go as a goalie or player, and I just decided to go as a goalie, and yeah.
There you go. Well, hey, you've been committed to it for a long time, and it clearly shows. I know that going, all through minor hockey, there would have been people along the way, including, of course, your family. You mentioned your brother kind of inspiring you to start skating. Who are some people along the way early in your hockey playing days that you think back on and think, man, they had a really significant impact on my career?
Yeah, my parents for sure, like I said, but a lot of the coaches, goalie coaches that I still keep in touch with to this day. Even my head coaches, like they've been there for me. And even though they might not know the most about goaltending, they know hockey. So they've taught me a lot. Mostly just coaches, my parents, all my family, teammates have helped me a lot, and just people like that.
You kind of started to set yourself apart when you join an organization like the York Simcoe Express. And I know that you spent a number of years coming up through the different age groups in that program. What was so special about being a part of that? Because a lot of good players, especially guys that have gone on to NHL careers, have come through that program. What was the experience like for you there?
Yeah, it was great. It was like 5 minutes away from my house, and you don't often get a good organization like York Simcoe that's right next to you. So I went there my first tryout as a AAA because my friends were going, and like there's thoughts about leaving, but it's just such a great organization, and I stayed, and all my buddies are there, and still keep in touch with them to this day. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about York Simcoe.
Well, you had a lot of good years there. And, like we touched on earlier, you being a young guy, and again, rare for 15-year-old guys to kind of come in and make an impact like you have. But this isn't anything new to you. You've been doing this and playing up in the age bracket a number of years. In the 22-23 season, you were playing with the York Simcoe Express U15 club, but you suited up for 3 games with the U16 club and you put up some bonkers numbers. I just want to read this because I still can't quite believe it. You played 3 games, you allowed 3 goals, you had a shutout, and the goals against average a tidy .73. Pretty darn good.
Yeah, yeah. It was lots of fun playing up a year, and they had a great team, and yeah, lots of fun.
I'm sure it was an interesting experience for you. I'm sure you knew a bunch of the guys that, only being a year ahead of you, but I'm sure other people probably saw you come in, especially opponents, and thought, who's this young kid coming in here? Is a year younger than everybody. And you just stonewalled everybody. I mean, that must have been a heck of an experience for you and your family.
Yeah, they like I said, they had a good team. They had Ryland Singh on their team, who's on my team now, so he was a familiar face coming here. But yeah, they had a lot of great players. Owen Griffin went high, and really skilled team. So yeah.
I want to ask you too, just about, obviously being a goalie, you have to approach the game in, I would say, a much different way than your teammates who are not goaltenders. When were you starting to realize that you maybe had a pretty good opportunity at potentially becoming a draft pick of an OHL club? There's a lot of guys out there who are playing net, a lot of other talented goaltenders. When did you start to think, I might be setting myself apart from some of my peers?
I never really looked too much into it. I was kind of like hockey's really fun for me, and I was just playing and trying to work as hard as I can and see what happens. It was like your draft year, you start thinking about it, obviously, but I didn't know what to expect coming into that year. It's obviously a huge year, and in January, I was lucky enough to make Team Canada, and that's when I really thought that I have a shot at this, and I have a shot at going fairly high. And yeah, I was really that. I was just focused on getting better and trying to enjoying the game and stuff like that, but didn't really think too much about the draft.
I think that's a good mentality to have. Spoken like a goalie, I would say. Very, very cerebral. Goalies always kind of get picked on as being the oddballs on the team a little bit. Does anybody ever point out any odd rituals that you have? I mean, I remember watching guys. I mean, there's so many examples. I'm a Caps fan. I remember watching Braden Holtby in the playoffs. That weird thing they'd always show him doing with the twitching and everything. Like, is there anything that you do as a goaltender that guys go, what is this guy doing? He's crazy over there.
Not really, not I'm very superstitious, or not very, but I can get pretty superstitious.
Right.
Um
Yeah. Okay. You're like Michael from The Office. You're a little stitious.
yeah, yeah. But no, other than that, like you said, Holtby, he was my favorite goalie growing up too. I was a big Capitals fan when he was there.
Let's
I do
go.
like the water squirt. That's about the only ritual I do, but yeah, I don't really do not anything out of the ordinary, I'd say.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll get some other opinions on that maybe from your teammates, whether it's out of the ordinary or not. I remember him always doing the water thing, and he'd watch a bead of water drop. Yeah, that's well, hey, there we go. We got something in common right away. The Holt Beast. He was something, and a guy as well that did a lot of great things considering his age. I mean, he exceeded a lot of expectations, and you're certainly doing that in your first OHL campaign. And I want to talk about your first career start. Obviously, I was in the building against the Kitchener Rangers. Obviously, another big momentous occasion for you and the family. Were your family able to come down? And what do you remember about that day getting told, hey, you're going to start your first career OHL game?
Yeah, lots of emotions. My family was able to come down. My brother came to my first game in like 2 years. Um, so yeah, it was just lots going through my mind. Just wanted to go out there and do my thing. I believed in myself, and I didn't want to overthink it too much because I felt like I could do all right, and I ended up doing fairly good. Didn't get a win, but still it was lots of fun, and yeah, great start, I'd say.
I completely agree. I was lucky enough to be at ice level between the benches to watch your start. And you were the talk of the town leaving the rink that night, let me tell you, especially amongst fans. I mean, like I said, people are just, almost obsessed with how young you are and how impressive you look. You looked like a savvy veteran in net that night, man. I was really, really impressed with the way you played. Like young goalies, when they come into the league, I think sometimes they can get caught up with the speed and the elevation of skill. Sure. You played a very calm, compact game. You reminded me a lot of Holtby actually that night. Just some young goalies can move around a lot. You were very, very tight. Where'd that come from? You mentioned you've worked with a number of goalie coaches over your career. Where did you kind of learn to have that approach in net? Because it's not an easy thing to master.
Yeah, I've always been a calm goalie, like you said. I don't like to move around as much, and I like to keep it simple. I don't really know where I learned it from. I liked watching, like you said, Holtby carry Price a lot, and it just seemed like the saves they make, they just make it look so easy. And if I could do that, then I wouldn't have to work as hard, and it'd be a simple game for me. So yeah, I've always tried to be the more calm goalie, and that's when I'm at my best, when I'm not moving too much, not doing too much. I'm just keeping it simple out there.
So you've played 4 games for the Storm so far, but the season, the early part of it anyway, highlighted by representing your country at the U17 Challenge. Obviously, that's a moment that a lot of hockey players in this country dream of, pulling that maple leaf over their head. What was that like for you, knowing that you had made the team and getting to compete in that prestigious tournament against some of the best players in that age bracket in the world? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, lots of excitement. We had a great coaching staff, great team, great group of guys, and it was lots of fun. I enjoyed every day of it. It was busy, but yeah, like I said, lots of fun, and yeah, lots of emotions when you put on the Canadian jersey for the first time. You see all these guys wearing it, and you're like, you can't believe that I get to put that on too. And yeah, just ton of fun. It's always fun being there, and they hosted a great event.
They certainly did down in Sarnia, silver medal for you. That's a huge accomplishment as well. And another thing that you can check off your bucket list, getting your first medal for Canada. What was that like? Obviously, sure, you'd have loved to have had it be gold, and I'm sure you're going to get other opportunities to pursue that color of medal later in your career, I would think, after your performance. But what was that like? A, you represent your country, huge deal, but B, you come back with silverware. I mean, that had to have been an incredibly proud moment for you and the family as well.
Yeah, it was. Like you said, it's not gold, and it'll sink in a couple more days. It's pretty recent, but yeah, it'll sink in that it's still a silver medal. It's still a medal in a world championship, and it's a pretty big deal. Obviously, you want to get gold, but can't always happen. But yeah, just really proud.
Obviously, your rookie teammate Alex McLean was at the tournament with you as well, and he's part of a young nucleus that's really, really impressive here for the Storm that the team is going to be able to build around for a long time. You're a big part of that as well. What was that experience like having a teammate there? And obviously, on the whole, looking out at this young group that's come in this year that you're a part of, it's obviously got to be pretty exciting that you can kind of see some really nice building blocks being established.
Yeah, it was great to have him there. Great to he has some connections, I have some connections, and we sort of helped each other meet everyone. But not too much time spent with him while you're there trying to meet all the other guys and the guys from out west, the guys from Quebec that you don't really know. And but yeah, it was great to have him there at the start. And yeah, he had a great tournament. He's doing really good. And yeah, I can't wait to see him keep getting better.
So we've talked a little bit and established already some of your goaltending heroes, in the very least, Braden Holtby, but Carey Price was always a popular one. Were there other guys that you watched growing up that you really liked the way they played and maybe took some things from their game?
Um, Not really. You said Holtby, Price. I liked Flurry when I was really young. Not my style, not really my style anymore. But when I was really young, I really liked him. He was probably my first like favorite goalie. Um, I like Ottinger more recently. Not really, not many goalies other than Price and Holtby. I remember I always used to watch those two, and every time Montreal would play Washington, I'd always watch and see how they're doing.
Well, you've got a guy in your team that's drafted by the Washington Capitals in Cam Allen, and of course, Jake Carabella was also drafted by the team. Didn't end up getting signed. Maybe someday, you'll end up getting the call from the Capitals. I'll cross my fingers for you. That'd be pretty interesting. I want to ask you as well, just about your teammates. You walk in, you make the team out of camp, and you get into practice with some of these guys that have been around in the OHL for a little while. So I want to ask you some things. Who is the teammate that has the hardest shot, you think, in practice? Who is the guy that you saw his shot the first time and thought, wow, that thing's heavy?
Um, I'd say Topper. A lot of guys.
Really?
Yeah, Miggsy's up there. Topper's got a pretty hard shot. McGuire, mostly those two. Budnick has a good shot too, but I'd say probably Topper. I was really impressed at the start. Like I didn't think he'd have such a hard shot, but yeah, he's got a pretty hard shot. And sometimes I don't want to face that the first shot.
I like that. Okay. Who's got the most accurate shot, the hardest shot to stop when he's trying to pick a corner on you? Who's the toughest sniper?
I'd say either Nemestikov or Jet. Obviously Jet, but
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Luch can pick a corner. He gets lauded for his passing, but he can pick a corner. And well, Mad Max, we just watched him go off for four.
yeah,
So everybody knows that he can rip the pill.
yeah.
Shootouts. I know you guys practice them. Who's got the slickest hands? Who's got the dangles on the team that are tough to stop?
McFadden's got some good hands. I saw his goal last year against City
Yeah,
shootout.
yeah.
Ulrichsen, he's got a long stick, so it's hard to stop him. Um, I'd say those two are the biggest. Like everyone's good, but yeah, I know McFadden's got really good hands, and I'm Jet again, but I'd say either McFadden or Ulrichsen.
Yeah, well, we call him Will McFilthy for a reason up in the booth. I'm not surprised to hear that. Um, you know, as a goaltender, you have to kind of work in tandem with a partner a lot. And Braden Gillespie has established himself as a great veteran in the league, continues to be a horseback there for your club. As the young guy coming in alongside Jovanovski, I'm sure both of you guys have been able to pick his brain a lot about his experience in the league so far, establishing yourself in the crease. What's your relationship been like so far with BG, or as we call him, Friday Night Lights?
Yeah, he's been great. Obviously, like you said, he's been in the league for a couple of years. He didn't have the clear path to the OHL, and it's cool to hear about that stuff. But I trained with him over the summer. He teaches me a lot. Even when I got here, he still gives me pointers and like he's played a lot of games, and it's good to hear the things that give him success in games. Yeah, watching him is great. He's been playing pretty good recently.
He absolutely has. Did you have a welcome to the OHL moment that came in that first game? Like, was there a moment where you were able to kind of step back? I know as the goalie, you kind of have to maintain your focus the whole time, but maybe it came after the game. Like, was there a moment that hit you were like, wow, that was really cool?
Um, After the game, I saw their first goal on me, and it got pretty loud when they scored on me the first time. I heard all the fans cheering. I didn't wasn't thinking too much about it during the game, but after I saw a video of it, I also got ran into early in the first period and um ran into, and then I also got a shot to the neck, which it's not really a welcome to the OHL, but I wasn't injured, but I've never been like touched in a game really. And then my first OHL game, I got a little bit of bumps, but nothing bad.
Yeah, it's a physical league, that's for sure. And like I said, I was impressed with how you handled it all. And you're 15, you don't turn 16 until the 3rd of December, a day before my girlfriend, by the way, the team's video coordinator. So we'll have to have like a dual celebration on the air or something. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
what's it been like for you? Like, because again, I know you don't focus much on how old you are. You go about your business, you're a calm guy. Uh, but what's it been like for you? Like, do you step back ever and go, man, like I'm 15 in the OHL. I don't turn 16 until almost midway through the season, and I'm in there. I'm making an impact. What is that like? It must be a tremendous point of pride, I would think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to think about. It's obviously great for having a later draft year, but yeah, I don't think about it too much. 'Cause like I said, I just want to be the same as the overager goalies or same as any other goalie. But it is cool when you think about it, and it's a spot I didn't think I'd be able to be in when I was probably a little younger. But yeah, it's pretty cool to think about it when I do think about it.
Well, we're happy that you're here and doing your thing, man. It's really incredible. I want to ask you too, as a goaltender, you mentioned getting scored on. I'm sure everybody has a different kind of mental process that they go through. As a goalie, you let a goal in. What's going through your mind and how do you reset? I like that's always fascinated me, about the best goalies that you see throughout the years. They're able to just completely erase it. How do you go about doing that in the crease?
When I first let it in, I usually take a second and try and think about where I went wrong. If it's something really obvious, then I just know and I'm like, okay, fix that for next time. But I don't like to think about it for too long. I'd say I think about it for 10 seconds after, and then I'm just focused on making the next save. Like I do the water thing to reset my eyes and reset mentally, and then yeah, I'm just focused on making the next save because you don't know what the next save could do for your team in the outcome of a game.
I like that mentality. I like that answer. That's good. I want to ask you a little bit about your relationships, obviously in the room and everything. I've asked all your teammates this. I'm always interested to hear kind of, and especially you being a goalie, having a little bit of a different mental game than some of your teammates. I'm interested to hear like what kind of music you're into. I know your room's a big country room, a lot of country going on. But as a goaltender, like what kind of stuff are you into? And more importantly, what are you listening to before a game to get yourself mentally prepared?
I like rap. I'd say I like rap more than country. Since I've gotten
Okay,
here, I've added more country songs to my playlist, that's for sure.
sure.
But yeah, I like rap. Before games, either rap or like some of the mixes that they do, where it's like mix of a couple different genres and it's just like all mashed up together and kind of pumps you up and stuff like that. I don't really like listening to like rock music. Um, so yeah, I'd say mostly either rap or some of the mashups that they do.
There you go. Okay, well, so you're not exactly in my wheelhouse as a broadcaster where I'm listening to like blaring metal on my way into the rink. That's I don't think actually that would be great for a goaltender. Maybe a little
Yeah.
distracting. Do you have any favorite artists that you got on the playlist right now that are kind of go-tos for you?
Drake has to be he's got to be my favorite rap artist.
I like that.
Zach Bryan, probably my favorite country artist. Uh, like pop, like Taylor Swift, I'd say. They just have the new like the Eras tour thing too. So yeah, I'd say for those are the main three genres I listen to, and those are probably the artists I listen to most.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Look, people like to act like they're too cool for school. I like Swifty too. Like we're all lying if when we say no, I don't like you do so. She's on your phone and I know it. No, I'm glad you can admit that. Uh on the road, I'm sure like many hockey players growing up, you get on the bus, everybody would be fighting to throw a movie on. Are there any favorite go-to movies that you have that you like to watch if you're on a long road trip or you're in a hotel room? Is there any go-tos that stick out for you over the years?
I don't really like to watch a movie on the road. I like movies, but on the road, I try and keep my eyes off my phone, just try and look out the window so my eyes don't get stimulated, I guess, while on the way to the game, or even if it is a road trip, I try and
Interesting. Okay.
enjoy the outside. But I'd say if I were to watch a movie, I mean, my favorite movie growing up was Thunderstruck. It was the one with Kevin Durant. I don't
I
know
know I know the one. Yeah.
I love that one. But if I were to watch a movie, I don't know what I'd watch. Probably I wouldn't watch like one movie, but I'd watch like something of like an action movie. Anything action movie. I like action movies a lot. Or sports movie. Like get me.
Of course, we got to throw the sports movie in there. Do you have any favorite sports movies? I mean, like Slap Shots, the all-time classic, of course, but baseball's got good. I love Moneyball. Like, are there any favorite sports movies that stick out?
I like Mighty Ducks is a classic, but
Oh
I
yeah,
really like Draft Day, the NFL one.
really good
Moneyball is
movie.
also great. Rookie of the Year, I've watched that numbers of times, but yeah, I'd say the main one is Mighty Ducks. Any of the Mighty Ducks.
Well, if you like those Costner movies, get into like Bull Durham, all that stuff. Major League, of course, is kind of baseball's slap shot, if you will. Check that one out too. Um, Man, I really appreciate you doing this. Congrats on all your early success. It's been really fun to watch you, and I can't wait to see what else you have in store for us, man. Seriously, you should be really proud of what you've done at such a young age. And I know Storm Nation's very excited to see what's next, Colin. Thank you so much for doing this, eh?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Remember, everybody, you can find this podcast on all your favorite podcast apps in the Guelph Storm website. And remember, if you want to come down and watch Colin Ellsworth and his Guelph Storm teammates this year at the Sleeman Center, go to the box office at the Sleeman Center or the Guelph Storm website. We'll be back next week with more Eye the Storm.